Welcome to Behind the Brand. My name's Pete Hull, founder and CEO of Fitstop. And today we are joined by Dave and Chris, the absolute weapons from Fitstop Salisbury and Annerley. How are you guys doing, boys?
Very well.
Great, thanks, Pete.
How's LA?
Now, fantastic, Dave. But today is all about you guys. Dave, you've been an absolute weapon in our business for a number of years now, starting at Salisbury. Proud owner, then you expanded into multi-site. You've got a business partner in that one, Shay. And Chris, you've come on board in the last couple of months, has it been? Last 6 months?
Yeah, I started on the 1st of July, so the first day of the financial year this year. So nearly 5 months.
Amazing. And Dave just mentioned your title is GM of the group. And what does that stand for?
That's the growth manager. So I'm responsible for what we call a lot of the back end workings of the business, the operational side, not so much the training side.
Things that are going to move the needle, basically.
I love that. And we're going to jump into the detail on that really soon. But before we do, let's wind it back. Dave, who are you? Who were you before Fitstop? Tell me a bit about your story.
All right. So in a nutshell, when I was about, I'm 42 now. When I was about
You look 20, mate.
I got a haircut for today. When I was about 22, I opened a Jets gym, of all things, when 24-hour gyms were first coming into Australia with one of my really good mates. And we had no idea what we were doing, but we made that business work. We sold it a couple of years later. I spent the next 10 or so years in commercial property, and it was just, there was something missing in my life. It was like I loved operating a business, even though I didn't know what I was doing. I learned a lot from it. And I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to be rocking into the city every day in a suit for the rest of my life working for someone. And I'd always loved fitness and health, had some pretty big mental health challenges through my life. And everything always came back to like running or fitness or group training and connection. That always helped me through those sort of tough times. So I did the due diligence on every fitness brand in Australia really, really heavily. Once Fitstop, this is not just like a plug, once Fitstop got into my mind and I understood the business, there was literally no looking back. I met Beck and yourself. We used to train over at Newstead, and the rest is history.
What was it that grabbed your attention?
You know, we call it that Fitstop feeling, like when you walk out of a session, you've just pumped a huge sesh with all these like-minded people. Your endorphins are through the roof. Your energy levels are like sky high, and you set yourself up for a really good day. I was like, I love this, and I want as many people as possible to feel what I feel. And that's been my whole sort of mantra about doing what I do.
And isn't that funny when we actually go through the franchise sales process? A question I always ask is, what do you want your Fitstop to feel like?
Yeah.
And I think we had this conversation super early. And if I can remember correctly, it was very much really strong community, really, really high energy.
Yes.
I think even back then you said you wanted it to be everyone's best 50 minutes of their day. And I think you still chant that from the rooftops every day.
Yeah, it's true. You know, people don't necessarily in life like going to the gym and working hard, but if you can make it as fun as possible for them, they're going to keep coming back. And that's really what we try and create here.
And so you've been able to build two incredible communities. Opening Fitstop Salisbury, what was that process like for you? What number did you open to at, and what have you grown it to?
Okay, so remember back in 2020, Scott Morrison got on TV and closed the entire country down. I was supposed to open 2 weeks before that. I'm very, very, very fortunate that the landlord at Salisbury is also a really good mate of mine, one of my best mates who's helped me a lot. And he just sort of said, just slow the build down. We just chilled for 3 months. Every single day of that lockdown, I showed up to Fitstop Newstead and recorded online workouts with a community that I'd never met in person, face to face. But that was really where I sort of started to go, oh my God, these people love this. And we're just doing it online. They're in their garage, they're in their living room, I was in the gym. And we did that for 3 months straight. I opened Fitstop Salisbury on that very first Saturday after lockdown was lifted. It was the 6th of June, 2020. I had about 120, 130 members. We're only allowed 18 people per class. You ran my first classes because I'd never done one in my life. And then from there, we have just we've grown it into this massive community. We have, what are we up to?
197.
Active members at the moment, which is just like mind blowing. So for a little South Brisbane community, it's become a huge movement. We love it.
No, that's just it, man. You brought that energy from day one, launching through COVID, building your membership base with 120 members. Yeah, I remember it vividly, walking in there, your energy. I was fortunate enough to coach a class.
Thank God.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, right? Because even from a business model standpoint, the onboarding, the induction, everything was done virtually.
Well,
To see that
was
community
the
really
hard
come
bit.
to life.
Yeah. Everything was done online. There was really no face-to-face. We were wearing masks, I think, for the first 6 months of operation. Like wild.
Wild to think you've been able to build a community, 120 open, just shy of that 300 magic number. Absolutely incredible. You've now got 2 studios, absolutely pumping. I think you're north of kind of 500 members across both of your studios.
Yeah.
I know you guys come together for Friday night lights and crazy events and all those things, which is absolutely incredible and a big key to your success. I want to kind of switch back over now. Chris, you've recently joined. You said start a financial year. You were brought in as the Chief Growth Officer. I'm going to give you a C-suite title now.
This is good.
What was yeah, it's just that pay rise is coming, Dave. But Chris, give us a little bit of a short story on your background and then why Fitstop? Why is this your next chapter?
Yeah, so Pete, I am 48 years old. I'm the senior citizen here at Fitstop Salisbury. My original career was as a primary school PE teacher, which I did for about 10 years. And then when I sort of wanted to move from that career, I opened an outdoor boot camp franchise called Step Into Life in Graceville in Brisbane. And it was very successful. It grew very well till about COVID in 2020 when, as Dave said, everything shut down. And that was the death of my franchise at that point. Not a great experience. So then I rebranded to my own brand and basically doubled my business for another 6 years. And so I was in that for 11 years. And I think like most fitness business owners got to the point where I was a little bit burnt out trying to do all the things for everyone, wearing all the hats in the business. And I thought it was just time to go. So I decided and I sold that business probably a week before I started with Dave. And it was just very fortuitous that Dave was looking for a trainer and someone to do some of his back end stuff. So my journey with Fitstop started pre-COVID with Fitstop Green Slopes as a member. And then I trained actually here at Fitstop Salisbury for about a year and a bit post-COVID. So Dave and I had always kept in contact from then. And it was just, as I said, a bit fortuitous that he was looking for someone because I wasn't really sure what my next step was, whether I would completely leave the fitness industry. So it was, just a chance meeting.
Can I jump in here for a sec? Chris's business that he sold just before he started with me is like so impressive. 200, he had a movement of 200 active members who would roll into the park in Sherwood every single day, middle of winter, like religiously. That's another level, So
absolutely, to build an outdoor boot camp to that level, to have a sticky community like that is incredible. And I know you've shared a bit more detail around that story. So I congratulate you on building a successful fitness business because it's not easy. Absolutely not. Dave, you've been running the business and like you mentioned, you stepped in on day one as the owner operator. You were also coaching classes. You'd never even coached a class in your life. You've been a fitness business owner before, but never coached a class. In my experience, you've created one of the most unique experiences within Fitstop. I've loved every single class I've stepped in that you've coached. You've just got this energy like no one else I've ever seen. And your members are so drawn to it. But that will only get you so far. At what stage did you take a step back to go, I need a bit of help and I can't just keep working in the business 20?
So, for me, Salisbury, I was surviving on vibe, okay? I was running 25 hours a week of classes, doing the sales, I was doing the marketing, the social media, the finance, and then training the trainers and that sort of thing. And then I'm also taking some classes up at Annerley. Thank God for my business partner, Shay, up there, who took the rest of them. And then I was running all the back end for Annerley as well. So sales, marketing, finance. And that is a recipe for disaster eventually. You can only push so hard. When you get to a certain member amount, what did we say it is? About 250,
20.
You're done, right? And I think, Pete, I reached out to you at the start of last year, and I said, mate, I need some help here. I need some business coaching. I need some direction. You put me in touch with the guys from the Entourage, and they really opened my eyes to what was possible. I was a bit naive, and I thought you just, as a business owner in fitness, you do everything. And I very quickly learnt from those guys that you need to build a team, right? And that's the way for serious growth. So
Yeah, amazing. For me, I've always had mentors in my life, and I believe you run life with either a reason, season, or a lifetime. You can only keep sprinting for so long, and sometimes you need to do that for that season to learn how you can push yourself, push your limits, but you get to that threshold. And I think sometimes when you reach out to get that external mentorship to showcase, okay, what's the next stage of growth for me, and you're willing to invest in yourself and back yourself to go and do that, that's when things can really shift. What were your biggest takeaways, I guess, from leaning into external mentorship, and then how did you utilize that with the Fitstop systems or some of the systems you had in place already?
So they really push my business coach, and I guess some of the Fitstop HQ staff really pushed me to start buying back some time in my life, because you've got family commitments, you've got work commitments, you've got to look after yourself as well. And when you were trying to do everything, what I was sort of finding was systems and processes were slipping in the gym and in my life. I was doing everything, but probably at about 60% of what it should have been done. And what I found was they really pushed me to start hiring some really solid people, management, trainers, people that are going to make my life easier and allow me to focus on the big picture, the big vision of what I want to achieve. So once I started to get that into place, very scary thing to do when you are used to doing everything in your business. And not just scary, just like financially scary, like you're investing in these people, hoping that it's going to work out. And lucky I came across the unicorn. He's very, very, very good.
Well, great people attract great people, but what was your biggest challenge in letting go control? Because to your point there, I think, so many of us business owners get trapped in well, I just have to do it. I have to take on more. It's my responsibility. And then when you do bring people in, sometimes it's easy to micromanage, let go of control, be across everything and need things done your way. Did you face some challenges there, and how did you overcome it?
Okay, this is the thing, right? When you run a business like I had been running and doing everything, the systems and processes aren't really written down how they should be. And so the biggest challenge for me was like, how do I teach people what I do when it's always been in my head? If that makes sense. So what Chris and myself did the very first, as soon as he started, was like, let's literally look at this entire business from every department, whether it's sales, whether it's marketing, whether it's trainers, and then let's write playbooks for each one of those, and then work out bottlenecks in the business and work out where there's little problems here and there and fix them. That was hard to do, to be honest. After 5 years of just doing everything myself, it was really tough.
Yeah, I think when you've been a part of the business for so long, obviously Fitstop distributes our annual plan and your quarterly toolkits, but for you, it would have just come so natural. And again, you said you were driving the business based on vibe, based off energy, which you have a ton of. You've always been someone that's followed perfect succession process. I've been a big believer in the member experience and always really focused on the key campaigns that Fitstop are distributing. But I think for you, it actually became granular in your own DNA.
Yeah.
So to bring someone in and then do that reset, Chris, what was your experience stepping into the business and working with Dave? I guess what was your first kind of 30 days like? And how did you guys, I guess, work together on it?
Yeah, Pete, it was a pretty awesome first couple of months. It's very busy. I remember very clearly having a meeting with Dave in the cafe a couple of doors down. And we pretty much set ourselves the goal of, we talked about what we wanted and what he wanted and his vision. And it was basically to become the biggest and best franchise in the network. And to do that, we obviously realized we had to run it like the best business in the network. So a lot of it was taking the Fitstop system that was already in there and just really nailing down every single thing that we needed to do day by day, week by week, and just working out what that had to be and systemizing all of that. So that I think the biggest challenge for us, or for me coming in to remove Dave from that front end, was as you've spoken about, brings a level of energy and intensity to sessions that it's unsurpassed. Like I've never seen it in any other business. And so to take him out of that
Yeah.
and then put someone else in there that isn't his exact clone was obviously going to be our biggest challenge. But it was something we needed to do to get this business to the level that it is at and is going to be at. So we worked on an adage. We both listened to a podcast where the guy said, people don't expect your presence, they expect your standards. And that was what we worked towards that. We weren't obviously going to find a clone of Dave to put in his place. That would have been really difficult to do. So what we did is we got our staff, our other trainers, to a level that he had set the standard at. So it gave him the opportunity to step back a bit. I know he loves still being in sessions, and I think he is a very big part of why Salisbury is so successful and his energy. But obviously, for it to grow to where he wanted to go, he had to come out of those sessions. He couldn't be coaching 25 hours a week. So that was probably our first big challenge, and one that we've really overcome. And our staff are fantastic now. Our little team is really
So
pumping
good.
at the moment.
And we're going to
So
expand on them
two
next
things
year.
on that.
Yep.
Two things on that. What was the podcast? And the second one is, when you set the standard, do you have any tools, or what are you utilizing to hold that standard accountable to?
Yeah, so I think it might have been a Geronimo podcast that we
Doza, good on you
heard
guys.
it on.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
yeah, obviously a big part of getting people to a standard is performance managing that, checking in that the standards are being met. Because obviously if Dave and I aren't in the gym at the sessions every day, we need to know that the staff are performing at the level we expect. So Dave has basically used the Fitstop system to do the 5-star first session criteria. And we use that to evaluate each of our trainers, and then Dave would have meetings with them to give them feedback one-on-one. And that's just a constant process to
Every
make
3
sure
months we do that.
So just to make sure, and that obviously helps with Dave being at the center, but to be confident to come out of the business and that the business is still being delivered at a level that we expect.
And what conversation was had with the team as you guys started to unpack this and build out the new systems and processes and standards that you wanted to roll out? How did you deliver that to the team?
Yeah, so we have a weekly staff meeting, which is something that wasn't in existence before I started. So we felt that was really important, that our staff were invested in the journey we were going on, not just Dave and I wanting to be successful together, and the staff just came along as a sort of collateral. We wanted them invested. We wanted them to understand what our goals were and what Dave's vision was, and we shared that with them. And then I think it was just a case of then putting incentives in place for them to get to certain benchmarks
Milestones.
with membership or certain KPIs. So we wanted them heavily invested in our success and not it just be Dave getting super wealthy from it and then everyone else just being, the plebs at the bottom.
But we wanted to find out what that makes them tick as well. And then rewarding them based on that is very important, because everyone's different and different things make different people tick. So finding out what that was.
You've mentioned you've really focused on building out your plan, and it's day by day, week by week, quarter on quarter. Can you touch on that a little bit more? What does a kind of week look like for you guys? I know you've been coming into the HQ office on a Monday. Let's get a bit granular. So with some key takeaways here, whether it's a Fitstop business owner listening or someone interested in setting up a fitness business, what's your structure look like? Your operating rhythm?
Monday is the most important day of the week for us. What we found was if we're in the gym meeting, we get very distracted. People come in, there's classes running. So we needed an external place which was quiet and uninterrupted, where we could literally just focus on the business. And, cafes are great for half an hour, but we need like 10 hours straight sitting in a room. And thank you very much for offering us a meeting room at head office. We're very grateful for that, because even though we're there, we don't really talk to you guys that much, or you don't talk to us. It's just literally head down. So I'll let Chris talk about what happens on those Mondays in a sec, but basically Monday is the day that we plan out everything, and then the rest of the days of the week are execution days. So we execute on everything that we plan for on Monday.
So
Great.
Monday,
Chris, what does Monday look like?
Yeah, so Sunday night, I always send an agenda to Dave for Monday, and stuff that we've talked about the previous week that we want to work on, and then Dave will add whatever he sees fit to add into there. And then Mondays are just all about planning. We sit there and we'll look at the figures. The first thing we do is look at the figures from the week before. So all our KPIs, all our financials, just to see how we're tracking. We'll look at all the all our intro conversions to actual members, look at all our stats across the business, highlight anything where we might be falling down a little bit. Thankfully, at the moment, everything is really good. But if we do identify something, then we kind of reverse engineer it to go, well, what do we need to fix in the business to stop this bottleneck to growth? And that's just been a game changer for us to have that time where no one interrupts us. We just spend
the best
8 or so hours just planning every Monday, and that sets our week up perfectly. And like Dave said, then it's just a case of executing everything that we've planned on that Monday, and that's just been fantastic for us.
If you're a business owner, that's my advice. If you're a business owner and you are in over your head, the best thing you can do is get out of your business for at least a day a week. And even if you don't have someone to bounce off, just write down everything and then just execute it for the rest of the week. That's what really changed the game for us, to be honest.
Couldn't agree more. And again, Dave and I have both been in the program, The Entourage. Jack DeLosa taught me 10 years ago now when I did the course. It is so important to know your numbers, to look at your data every single week and track your trends. Even at a HQ level, every Tuesday morning, we do a full company whip, and it's looking at top line numbers and then operational components that we need to focus on to move the needle. Something that I've done from the very start of growing this business, and even at a team level on a Monday morning, we always kick off with wins and reflections from the last week, and that's always typically driven through data. Chris, when you stepped into the business, you've been there for about 6 months now. What is the biggest noticeable change from a data standpoint? What metric have you just been seeing increase week on week since you've been there? And you guys have actually been investing time into knowing your numbers?
Yeah, so definitely the biggest one would be our rollovers. So when we have a member on the intro package, it might be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, from rolling them over into an ongoing member, recurring member, has been the biggest change. I think when I started, we were probably not really focused on that.
At all.
Just basically rolling over because that's what happens on our memberships. And so there'd be people going, well, I didn't know I was going to roll over, or I wanted to go on a 6-month package. And so that just wasn't being addressed. And we figured that out, that if we could attack that and get some really good growth in that would help our growth moving forward. So it's like we sort of spent the first month or two attacking how we would focus on that and make that more of a priority. And we have done that so far. And for the last 2 months, we're 33 for 33 on rollovers. So for the last 33 people that have come into Fitstop Salisbury, they've become members. So pretty phenomenal. We set our benchmark at about 80%, which we thought was a stretch. But we're kicking along at 100% at the moment, which we're absolutely stoked about.
Look, I think anyone out there listening could agree if we could all have 100% roll-in from an intro offer, which is a big part of Fitstop business. I think fitness businesses in general are offering intro offers and then giving the member the choice of whether they're going to stay or leave. If you can have a direct touch point, I think most importantly in our model, it's always, has that member made a friend? Do they understand the programming, and do they feel like Fitstop's where they're going to get them a result? They're going to stay. So if you're getting 100% rollover, that's absolutely incredible. I think our high performers in Fitstop are sitting around that 80% as their stretch target, and industry standard sits more around that 60%. So that's incredible because you guys have absolutely been doing the work on it.
And it doesn't have to be a huge job, I don't think. I think it's just about setting a little process. So Chris looks after, if someone signs up to an intro offer, Chris will look after them for the first month, multiple touch points a week. He'll roll them over. Then that person would go into our normal retention program, which Kate, one of our other trainers, runs. So it's good.
And so overall, what's the net member movement you've seen in the business, Chris, since you've been there?
So from day one, we're on 242 members and we're on 297. So what's that?
50 whatever.
It's a lot.
It's enough.
And
congratulations, boys. It's incredible. Yeah. And you're going to touch on, obviously, that's then a big increase into revenue. And Dave, you mentioned you're taking a little bit of a risk with a restructure, reinvesting into team.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you get serious about it and track your numbers, then that return on investment's going to come, and to be coming within 6 months is incredible.
Yeah, massively. And it just allows us to focus on, if everything's organized in our businesses, it allows us to grow even faster by focusing on focusing on bigger picture stuff, and then everyone in the team executing on that. It's awesome. Love it.
Dave, one question, mate. What is one leadership quality you've learnt in the last, we'll call it 12 months, that you now swear by?
All right. All right. Hire people, right, that are smarter than you. Okay. And that is not a joke, whether that is management, whether that is trainers who are more knowledgeable than you. Hire people that are smarter than you, find them and hire them. They will not only make myself smarter, but they'll also grow the business at a quicker rate. 100. I think, you know who
And
said that?
empower them
The guy who
to
started
empower them to
Alibaba,
do it.
the Chinese guy, Jack Ma, who started Alibaba, said that, and it stuck with me so much, and it's changed my life.
And empower them to get on with it.
100%.
Chris, you are a very structured guy. What's a daily habit or something that you have in place weekly that keeps you in check?
I think for me, this often gets asked to me about what my daily routine looks like. For me, it's not specifically one thing. It's just being super consistent across all areas of my role. Dave knows I'm just super consistent, whether I'm sick, whether we're planning, everything that I have to do that day gets done.
Out of control.
Think that's the real key to success in business, is just consistency all the time, not when you feel like doing stuff, not when it's convenient. It's just doing those things day in, day out, and just being consistent. And we were talking about it the other day. We're definitely not the smartest blokes in the world.
And we don't do anything that special.
We're just super consistent in all areas of what we do, and we've got a very good plan. So when you've got a plan in place that you believe in, and you believe in yourselves and you back yourselves, and then you're just super consistent in executing. I think that's probably what I've seen in business, working in lots of different businesses in my old role, is that a lot of people have a great plan, but they just don't execute on it. And whether that's because they're burnt out,
Don't have the team.
Dave might have been when I first started here, or they just don't have the people in the right seats to execute that plan.
Of it. Dave,
Good
you've made
chat.
some big change in the last 12 months, recognized you've made a decision, lent into it, and probably most importantly to yourself to execute. What's life like now? How is it different than 12 months ago? What would you say, Dave, 12 months ago now?
12 months ago, I was a lot more frantic. I love now that I have some time to really sit down. I think thinking is very important, right? People underestimate the power of your thought. And I think when your mind is a little bit calmer, you can think bigger. And I've really started to think bigger this year, like the biggest I've ever thought. And it's really motivated me to hit some huge goals in the coming years. So just having a little bit more time to think about things. I know that sounds a bit weird, but it's very important to use your brain properly.
You've achieved a lot in 12 months. What does the next 12 months look like? What's on the vision board for 2026? High level, don't give away all your secrets.
Think there's I want to replicate these communities that we've built. I want to impact a lot more people, and I'm going to do that over a couple more communities with the help of an unbelievable team. And I really want to nurture our current staff and grow them at the same time. And then for our current communities, I've got some pretty loose stuff that I'm trying to organise in terms of getting people out of their comfort zones and pushing people to achieve things that they just never thought they could do. That's the goal.
Amazing, guys. Absolutely stopping at nothing.
What about you, mate?
I've had... What's on Chris's vision board?
I'm just working with this guy has been an absolute life changer for me. I was pretty much done with business in the fitness industry about 8 months ago, and just working with Dave has just given me a new lease on life. I've found all my drive, all my motivation in business again. So his energy and his belief in me has helped me achieve at a very high level as well. So it's been awesome. And for me, it's very, very exciting the next few years because I think we have unlimited opportunity in front of us, particularly with the Fitstop network and what it provides for us. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what we can.
I actually think the Fitstop brand is this right now, I feel, and this is not a lie, I feel like we are the strongest that we have ever been at the moment. The programming is the best that I've seen in 5.5, 6 years. The marketing, how we look, how we talk to people, it's good. It's going to be a huge couple of years coming up for us. Watch out.
Very excited for you boys. And we also take energy from you guys. Love the structure you have put in place. My big takeaways from the last 30 minutes with you guys has been, firstly, you need to recognize when change needs to happen. And when you lean into that, absolute magic does happen. But it only comes from planning. You guys were very clear on what you wanted your life to be like, what you wanted for your communities. And then you execute on it week on week. You take time out of your busy schedule because everyone can talk about being busy. You take time out of your business to work on your business every single Monday and you get into the detail. You're not there to mess around. You sit in that office for like 6 hours in the data. And that's really resulted into 100% of your memberships rolling in and now a net member movement in one studio of over 50 in the space of 6 months. Success leads clues. So if anyone out there is listening and they want to adapt one thing right now, it's get out of your business and get into the data and the details every single week.
100%.
Use the Fitstop office if you want, just not on a Monday because Dave's in there. But this has been absolutely incredible, guys. And I'm just excited for you, Dave, and what this has done for your lifestyle. I can only imagine how chaotic it was and how calm it now feels.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see you guys open more Fitstops, make a bigger impact. And I'm excited for the loose stuff that you've got planned for 2026.
Yeah, it's going to be good fun. Looking forward to the
Love
ride.
it, guys.
Thanks so much,
Thank you
mate.
so much.
Great to see you. Okay, chat to you.
Good luck.
Bye.